We can. Guru So before we, because there are some new, and we also want to just recapitulate. Sir, we can introduce Vishwanathan sir. Okay. So anyway, I will introduce Vishwanathan sir is our anesthetist here, and he runs a center for palliations. One of the Pancha Mahabhutas, in which we take care of our own beings. And the best way to take care is selfless service when at the end days, in the time of your end, when we know that this person is not going to surrender. That is the best time to take care, because not many people do that. And sir is doing a service. So we want to today is a very difficult topic. And if today we understand, then we don't have to have next class. So that's the importance of this topic, Atma. You can all understand why it is important, because all the discussion till Atma is what, if I ask Kundal sir, what will you tell it? What is Atma? To someone who is very new.
Atma is conscious.
Yes.
Consciousness.
Yes, one word, consciousness. Madam, whatever you understood in the last two classes.
Nice. Our inner thing.
Okay.
God something.
Okay. Madam, someone who is new, they don't know about Atma. For example, when I started Bhagavad Gita, nothing known. So how would you bring to that person? What is Atma? Because all today is going to be unfolded. Vishwanath.
Ambomani sir.
Ambomani sir, okay.
Sir, I am new till you.
Okay.
There is no.
So because she's anyway going to tell.
Eternal.
Eternal. So I just wanted a few words, that will then.
I'll say.
Yes.
Atma is not a part or product of our body, but it is existing within us. It's the consciousness within us. You won't be able to see the Atma, but to know Atma, we have this physical body. Atma is nothing.
It is not beginning. There is no beginning.
It doesn't have a birth or death. It is always existing.
Correct.
Then,
and even if you are not there, it doesn't require you. It provides sentiency to us.
yes,
It is independent.
to know Atma only we are having this physical body.
Yes.
Unless without this you won't be able to know Atma.
Yes.
And Atma is colorless.
Basically attributeless.
Yeah.
Attributeless. So whenever we describe Atma, it is very difficult. Like in this class, now I will tell, if you count it is 20 or 18 people, but I will say there are 18 people plus 2 lions and 5 tigers and a very big elephant is there. How do I describe that? Will you agree?
No, Atma is only one final.
No, I am just trying to tell something not describable. You can't see it, right? I'm telling only about one point that we cannot see, but you have to believe in me. I'm seeing 2 horns on your head, or you are seeing 4 horns on my head. You can't. How can you describe something which is not seen? Now imagine Atma, which is cannot be seen, heard, smelled, tasted, or touched. Experience, only experience. It can be experience. So that last one time I told about Inal Haq, Sufi saint. He was in the court of I don't know who the king was, very cruel king. And that day, the Sufi saint experienced Atma first time in his life. The consciousness within him. He understood he is everywhere. So that experience made him suddenly jolt in laughter, joy, and started jumping and telling, I understood, like Eureka, Eureka, okay? Now, only he experienced. Others have no experience about Atma. He's behaving for others, he's a mad fellow. Just like I'm a mad fellow if I tell 5 elephants and whatever in this class. The other person who was beside him, a minister, said, I know Inalak, you have understood. Can we calm down? Can you quieten down? He said, how can I? This experience is such joyful experience. I have to spread it. In that, what happened is the king saw him and he wanted to punish because he was not listening. Then he sent one soldier to cut him in pieces. You know what happened? He is still in joy. He's telling, how can you fool me? This person who has come is none other than God, consciousness. He has come to cut me. And then really what happened is even after cutting every part of his body was in that sound of joy. So something which cannot be experienced, cannot be shared. It is only experienced and limited to yourself, is Atma. But how do you have to experience that? Through what? Through yourself. The body, the mind, and the world. We call it, I just name it BMW. Body, mind, world. So through this only we can understand Atma. Just as a wave, which thinks it is different than the ocean, but finally what happens? It dissolves, not vanish, it dissolves into the ocean. Right? So that way, we are all waves, just the name and form. Some is 70, some is 80, some is 20 kgs, whatever. Some is black, white, gray, brown, whatever. But it is a small or big wave for limited period, whatever years. And then finally where it goes, it comes from the ocean, goes back to ocean. And constantly it has to remind the ocean is made of water as well as the wave is made of water. So we are the part of Paramatma, and here is the Jivatma, right? The Paramatma and Jivatma is none other than Atma, the water principle. So this is just the introduction, and this will help to, because this is a very tough topic, I think. So it's very, someone has taken this topic, let us see how she can, because now someone has given some, like she has very beautifully said, which we have done, I think, 100 times maybe, what is Atma. So these 5 points we know, and let us see. Today, please. Oh, Gita was, okay.
I have taken the first verse of this Gita. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samavetanujutsavaha Mamaka Pandavachaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. King asked, what did my people and the Pandavas who were eager to fight and who were assembled in the holy land of Kurukshetra do, O Sanjaya? Now, the place where the war is being fought is one of the sacred place, and meaning of Dharmashetra is abode of righteousness, and meaning of Kurukshetra is land of strife and struggle. Here, abode of righteousness is nothing but our inner personality. What is that? That is the Atman, the infinite bliss. But when we are not ready to embrace this infinite bliss, what every day we are living is through this Kurukshetra. Our life is nothing but strife and struggle because we embrace the samsara. Now, we have two characters here. One is Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya. Sanjaya, the meaning of Sanjaya is one who is victorious over himself. And he was blessed by Vyasacharya with a special telepathic power through which he was able to narrate the whole episode of Kurukshetra to Dhritarashtra. We all know who Dhritarashtra is. He was born blind, but actually not, he was physically blind. He was intellectually blind. Because with a simple sentence, he questions Sanjaya itself, we can understand the state of mind Dhritarashtra was in. Dhritarashtra asked Sanjaya, how are my people and Pandava's children? The difference there shows how he differentiated Pandava's sons from his, and he was very much attached towards his sons. That is because he was acting because of his mind's likes, dislikes, whims, and fancies, and all his actions were very impulsive. One character in Mahabharata was Gandhari. She was epitome of intellect, but unfortunately, she blindfolded herself during the wedding. So what happened was in that process, she blinded her intellect. So when intellect is not strong, what happened is loss and destruction. So intellect has to be strong to place the mind, to hold the mind in its place and help the mind to guide and direct. But when the intellect is blinded and mind is prioritized, what happens is self-destruction. So the marriage of these two, the blinded mind, blinded intellect and prioritized mind is 100 evil children. That is what in everyday life we go through. That is every day, at least one decision in life, we will definitely act through our mind and not judge with our intellect. What happens is that comes the 100 evil thoughts are born within us. And this is the first verse of Mahabharata that starts with Dharma, and the last verse of Mahabharata in the 18th chapter ends, Bhagavad Gita ends with Mama. Mama Dharma means my essential being. What is my essential being? It is not the body-mind complex. It is the Atma. And today's topic is Atma. So let's sit back, enjoy, and understand what Atma is.
First starting the சொன்னீங்க குருஷேத்திர மீண்டு நம்மளோட திருப்பி
Dharmashetra means abode of righteousness.
No,
Ada-
you just, please. You just.
அதை கொஞ்சம் தமிழ்ல பேசலாமா?
தர்மக்ஷேத்ரானா வந்துங்க அதாவது ரைட் பிளே, அதாவது ரைச்சியஸ்னஸ்க்கு ஒரு இடமான ஒரு எல்லாமே ஒரு நியாயமான இடமான ஒரு தர்மமான இடம் வந்து குருக்ஷேத்ரா. அது என்னன்னா ஆக்சுவலி நம்மளோட இன்னர் பர்சனாலிட்டி குறிக்குது. ஆனா நாம வந்து இந்த இன்னர் பர்சனாலிட்டி எது ஆத்மா, அதை நாம வந்து எம்ப்ரேஸ் பண்ண, அதாவது இன்ஃபினிட் பிளிஸ், அதாவது எல்லையே இல்லாத ஒரு சந்தோஷம் தான் அது. அதை நாம எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பண்ண தயாரா இல்லைங்கும் போது நம்ம வாழ்க்கை குருக்ஷேத்திரம் மாதிரி தான் ஸ்ட்ரைக் அண்ட் ஸ்ட்ரகிளோட எவ்ரிடே நம்ம போராடிட்டு இருக்கோம். தேங்க்யூ.
Okay, today the topic is Atma. I'll try my best to put across my thoughts. I hope you understand. So far we have studied about the physical body.
You sound like,
The physical body is what we have studied so far. The three sharirams, Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, and Karana Shariram. We have already read this, we're just going over this. Sthula Shariram is made from the gross elements, fire, earth, water, space, etc. Similarly, the Sukshma Shariram is made up of a subtle portion of the gross element. So both are material in nature. Similarly, Karana Shariram is the potential form of these gross bodies. அதுக்கு காரணமா இருக்கிறதுனால அதுக்கும் மெட்டீரியல் கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக் இருக்கு. So all are material. And the next division as the Kosha Panchakam and the Avastha Trayam are again different divisions of these sharirams only. So essentially, now in the last moon topic, they are explaining about our physical body. And we know that our physical body is anatma. So in the moon shariramum, it is anatmana. Anatma is essentially inert or jadam. But we are not inert. We're talking, we're smiling, we're laughing, we're interacting. So we have that consciousness within us. Something is making us alive. So what is that which is making us alive? Next. The Sharira Trayam does not have a Swabhavika Chaitanyam or a natural consciousness. If there is a person in this room who is not having that consciousness or life, He's dead. So where is this life coming from? Where is this life-giving force coming from? It is only a borrowed consciousness. Temporarily, that consciousness is entering that body. Agantuka Chaitanya. So where is this conscious body? Yaar karan kudukra on the consciousness? It has to come from somewhere. That is Atma. Atma is making the Shariratrayam alive with consciousness. In Tattva Bodha, the question is asked, Atma kaha? What is Atma? Adukku teacher explain பண்றது வந்து ஸ்தூல சூக்ஷ்ம காரண ஷரீரா Dvyatiriktaha. That is the first line. Just read the first line.
Which is other than.
Dvyatiriktaha.
Dvyatirikta means other.
Other than. That which is other than the gross, subtle and causal body. Blue the first line. Panchakosha titaha san avastya traya sakshi. That which is transcending beyond the 5 layers of personality. And the 5 layers of தாண்டியும் இருக்கிறதுங்க. Sachidananda Swarupaha. That is which is the sun is Yatishtati sa Atma. That which acts as a witness to the Avastatraya. Avastatrayava பார்க்குது. It is not acting. This is the very nature of the consciousness. This is the self. On the Ananda Swarupaha is the self. Self is consciousness, which is Atma.
So whatever we did last 2 months is not Atma. That is what it is to be said.
What we have done so far is all about the Anatma. Only when you know what is the Anatma, you will understand what is Atma. Other tavira, iduna.
Madam's question was there, no? Why then we have to know about all this? Because through the Anatma only we know Atma. That's what.
First வந்து அந்த 3 சரீரம் பற்றி 3 சரீரமும் அப்பாற்பட்டது, அதுக்கு தாண்டி வருது. 5 கோஷம், 5 லேயர் ஆஃப் பர்சனாலிட்டி. அந்த லேயர் ஆஃப் பர்சனாலிட்டியை தாண்டி மேல இருக்கிறது, அதுக்கும் மேற்பட்டது. அடுத்தது அவஸ்தாத்ரய, அந்த 3 அவஸ்தாவை 3 ஸ்டேட்ஸ் ஆஃப் கான்சியஸ்னஸ் வந்து சாட்சியா இருக்கு. அது என்ன பண்ணுதுன்னு இது நின்று பார்க்கும். அவேக்கா இருக்கும்போது, தூங்கும்போது, அது அந்த டைம்ல வந்து எது அதுக்கு சாட்சியா இருக்கு. நம்ம தூங்குறப்ப யார் நம்மளுக்கு ஆக்சுவலா ஒண்ணுமே இல்லை. அந்த டைம்லயும் ஆத்மா இருக்கு, அதுக்கு தான் ஆத்மா இருக்கு. அதையும் தாண்டி இருக்கிற நேச்சர் ஆஃப் த கான்சியஸ்னஸ் அந்த ஆனந்த நிலை தான். So now we are trying to understand what is the nature. Atma-oda swarupam illa. So Atma Chaitanya Swarupam is the nature of consciousness itself. Consciousness நம்ம describe பண்றதுக்கு try பண்றோம். It is a non-material principle. It is the original lender. It is the spiritual principle. Now we will just discuss a few things. நம்ம ஏற்கனவே second chapter படிச்ச topics. We will just go over it again. Atma Swatantraha. It is not dependent on anything for its production. அது உருவாகிறதுக்கு எதுவுமே காரணம் கிடையாது. அது exist ஆகிறதுக்கு it is not dependent on anything. It is totally independent of anything. Atma Nirguna. It is attributeless and property free. Actually, none of these things which I am saying are the characters as such. We are trying to describe something which is undescribable. It is non-material. It does not relate to any attributes of matter. ஒரு லைட் எரியுதுங்கிறதுக்காக லைட்ல ஆத்மா இருக்குன்னு நம்ம சொல்லக்கூடாது. எல்லா இடத்துலயும் இருக்குது. அந்த லைட்டை வச்சு we are giving an example. அந்த உயிரை வச்சு, அந்த உடம்பை வச்சு we are giving an example. ஆத்ம நித்யம். Atma Trikale api Tristati. Atma it exists in every kala, ella kalathiyum, past, present and future. It is eternal and unconditioned by time. It even when the matter, the anatma perishes, anatma நம்மளோட உடம்பு இறந்து போனதுக்கு அப்புறமும் ஆத்மா continues to exist. ஒரு பல்புல எப்படி லைட் எரியுது, என்ன விதமான பல்பா இருந்தாலும் அது எத்தனை ஆம்பியர் பல்பா இருந்தாலும் எவ்வளோ ரொம்ப அட்வான்ஸ்ட் டெக்னாலஜி இருக்கிற பல்பு இருந்தாலும் லைட் எரியுது பிகாஸ் த எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி கோஸ் த்ரூ இட். Because similarly, the Atma is there in everything, everywhere, and at all time. Second chapter, I just put what verses correlate with these characters. Nate ham jatu natvam. Nemi janadipaham. Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha. Sarve vayamata param. If Krishna says, I was not there in the past. He's telling Arjuna, I was not there in the past. You were not there. These kings, Kurukshetra war, the kings were also not there. This idea is itself not true. All of us will not exist in the future. So, appavum illa, ippavum illa, eppavum illa. And this is also not true. What I'm saying is also not true because ellame vande, it is all anatma. Atma is always there.
So, no, this is confusing. It is like that. Two negatives
Make a positive.
makes a positive, simple. Understood? Otherwise, it will be some people are listening first time.
Atma is
நீங்கெல்லாம் இல்ல, ஆனா ஆத்மா இருக்குது.
So he is trying to tell through the bodies, they were not there, not true, means Atma was there.
Atma Satya. Atma is the eternal truth. Satyamna unmai. This is the truth. That is, Atma is always there. Existence is the intrinsic property of Atma, whereas existence is the borrowed property of an Atma. Anatma. Atma எப்பவும் இருக்கும். ஆனா அனாத்மா வந்து ஆத்மாவை யூஸ் பண்ணி கொஞ்ச நாளைக்கு உயிரோட்டா இருக்கும். Like how a clay pot, whatever shape it may be, even if it's broken or whole, அதோட clay, அந்த களிமண் வந்து களிமண் தான். அது அதே மாதிரி ஆத்மா is always there. இதுக்கு ரிலேட்டட் வேர்ஸ் வந்து நாசதோ வித்யதே பாவோ பாவோ வித்யதே சதஹ உபயோரபி திருஷ்டோன தஸ்த்வன்னாத்யோஸ் தஸ் There is no existence for the unreal. பொய்யானதுக்கு எப்பவுமே existence கிடையாது. There is no non-existence for the real. உண்மைக்கு இல்லாமைங்கிறது இல்லை. ஆமா, கிருஷ்ணர் எல்லாத்தையுமே குழப்பிதான் கொடுத்திருக்காரு. இல்ல, there is no existence for the unreal. What is not true cannot survive. There is no non-existence for the real. What is true will always stay. The truth of both of these is indeed known by the seers of the earth. யார் அந்த உண்மையை புரிஞ்சுக்கிறாங்களோ அவங்க ஆத்ம சர்வகத or Atma Eka. That is, Atma is one. It is not circumscribed by space, it is all pervading. Like how Namasukya and the space or atmosphere is there in huts or in mansions and shops and hospitals and schools. Everywhere the space is the same. It is confined by different places.
You can also mention that sunlight will not discriminate. It will fall equally, like we're showing in the picture, that it is falling on the slum
And
the same way as on the pool and big place or big mansion.
Avinashi tu tadviddhi.
Avinashi tu tadviddhi.
Yena sarvamidam tatam. Vinashamavas yasyasya. न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति Atma, know that Atma is imperishable, one by which all this is pervaded. அவர் வந்து actually is talking to Arjuna. கிருஷ்ணா சொல்றாரு, புரிஞ்சுக்கோ, ஆத்மா வந்து it is through everyone. அது வந்து imperishable, அதை வந்து கொல்ல முடியாது. அது வந்து இந்த அத்தனை உடம்புக்குள்ளே இருக்குது. ஆத்மா is always there. Don't get upset to kill these people அப்படின்னு சொல்றது. No one can bring about the destruction of this changeless one.
யாராலையும் கொல்ல முடியாது.
Atma Nirvikara, how the human body changes from birth to childhood to teenage to young age to old age and finally death. That does not happen to the Atma. Atma is always the same, it never changes. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe. Kaumaram yauvanam jara. Kaumaram yauvanam jara. Tata dehantara prapti. Tata dehantara prapti. Dhirastatra namuhyati. Dhirastatra namuhyati. Just as the self which is in this body goes through boyhood, youth, old age, so also it goes through the attainment of another body also. A wise man does not worry over such a thing. That changes in life. Atma Akarta, Atma Abhokta. Actually, this particular thing we have discussed many times. Atma does not act, it is not the subject of action. How we see a movie screen, the movie will be played. And even after the movie stops, the movie screen is there. It doesn't mean that there is any interaction. So when we do something, or when we experience the results of those actions, it is not the Atma which is experiencing, it is only the Anatma or the body, which includes the mind also. Namma manaso Anatma. Ya enam veti hantaram. Yaschainam manyate vatam. Ubhau tau na vijanito. Nayam hanti na hanyate. The one who considers this self to be the killer and the one who considers this self to be killed, both of them do not know that this self does not kill, nor is it killed. Adeva. Atma aprameya. It is always the subject, but never the object of knowledge. As we have discussed about the eye sees things. Sir has always said that what we see is actually not the actual thing that we see. It undergoes so many reflections within our eye itself. So what reaches the mind is already, it is a myth, not true. Similarly, how a camera can only take pictures, no one actually sees the person behind the camera. Similarly, the Atma only watches. It is not the person who is undergoing those interactions. Antavanta ime deha. Nityasyokta shariranaha. Anashino aprameyasya. Tasmadyutyasva bharata. Perishable are these bodies which belong to the eternal, imperishable, and unobjectifiable self. Therefore, fight Arjuna. is to compare the characteristics of Atma and Anatma. Atma is Nitya. It is always present. Anatma is Anitya, perishable. Atma is the truth or Satya. Anatma is Nitya, அது நிஜமில்லை. Atma is nirvikara. It does not undergo change. Anatma is vikara. Atma is aprameya. Anatma is prameya. Atma is akarta and abhokta. It does not do anything. It does not get any action also. Similarly, Anatma is the karta and the bhokta. It works and it gets the results. So far we have tried to describe Atma. Similarly, many other words were also used. That is imperishable, immovable, always present. So there are lots of words, but these are the most common topics that we have read in the second chapter. Now, Vedantic teaching trains us to renounce identification with the Anatma and tries to make us learn to identify with the Atma. That one method of teaching is the Drishya Viveka. I am different from what I experience. This we should think in terms of Atma. Atma is different from what this Anatma is experiencing. And I, the experiencer, am free from the attributes of the experienced object. The Atma is free from the attributes of this Anatma. I may be happy, I may be sad. The Atma is not happy or sad. Atma is always the same. It is only the Anatma who is experiencing the feelings. This is also another verse from Tattva Bodha. I'm not going to chant it. I don't know if I can do it properly. நான் explain மட்டும் பண்ணிடுறேன். Like how நம்ம உடம்புல வந்து நம்ம வளையல் போடுறோம், கம்மல் போடுறோம், நெக்லஸ் போட்டுக்கிறோம், இன்னும் நிறைய நகை போட்டுக்கிறோம். We wear fancy clothes, we wear simple clothes. நம்ம சொல்றது வந்து I am wearing these clothes. These ornaments and clothes are mine. They are not, but we have to understand, we know they are not a property of our body. அது என்னோடது, ஆனால் என்னோட உடம்பு சார்ந்தது. Similarly, we should know that the Atma uses the Anatma as a part of it, but it is not the Anatma. They are different. We should learn to differentiate that. On the first step, we should learn to take a step back and differentiate. This is the 16th verse of Tattva Buddha again. Atma tarhi kaha Satchidananda Swarupaha. What is self? What is Atma? It is the nature of existence, consciousness, and bliss. So the next question is Sat Kim. What is existence? Kalatraye api tishtati sat. That which remains unchanged in the three periods of time, past, present, and future is existence. Atma Nityan சொன்னது. What is it? Existence. மூணு காலத்திலையும் நிலைச்சு நிக்கிறது தான் ஆத்மா. Chit Kim. ஞான ஸ்வரூபக. What is consciousness? Chitna is consciousness. It is the nature of absolute knowledge of the self or Atma. Anandaha kaha Sukha Swarupaha. What is bliss? It is the nature of absolute happiness. What Swamiji has explained in our book is we should learn to differentiate between the natural and the unnatural. We know that we like being happy. We don't like being sad. Being happy is natural to our being. We like it. We don't like being sad. We say no. Similarly, we should know that mortality. நம்ம பிறக்கும்போது நம்ம இறக்க போறவங்களுக்கு அது வந்து நிஜம். That is mortality. That is normal. Whereas immortality is unnatural. அதை நம்ம எதிர்பார்க்க கூடாது. நான் இன்னும் 4 நாள் இருக்கணும், இன்னும் 4 வருஷம் இருக்கணும், அதை நினைக்க கூடாது. Similarly, the next thing is we should know that Anatma is unnatural and Atma is natural. We should learn to identify with the Atma and experience it. Thank you, Hari.
Yesterday I joined paper in Tirunamale, two Aguris, white themselves, they were very happy dancing, coming, and they started petting each other. That was conscious, Like,
So there is,
No,
no, there is one, like this after the classes, one person murdered. And he was caught and he was presented to the court. And for his plea, he said, see, I did not do anything. Neither I can kill, neither I can get killed and all that he spoke. After learning a little bit of Vedanta. But he doesn't know, judge also knows Vedanta. He said, anyway, the punishment is not given to your Atma. It is your body which is going to get punished. So you can get punished. So like Ragori, I don't know what is happening. But knowing part of it is not. You have to know entirely. You have to
yesterday.
claim. The whole idea is to claim. Now the whole entire Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita in one word, it is not to become, it is to be. What we have to unleash is that we are always becoming something. From the childhood, you name the child, so and so. Then you say you are so and so age and you celebrate the birthday. What are you doing basically? The Atma which is inside that Panchakosha, Sharira Trayam, Avastha Trayam, you are celebrating its Anatma part, right? Slowly that Anatma considers himself, oh, I am Sachin, now I am grown up, I am beautiful or handsome and I got married, I got children, my children will get bigger. All this is happening Anatma level, isn't it? So we are becoming something at some time, which is again all that savikara, karta, bhokta, guna, it is not nirguna. So what will happen finally? It will perish. But is that Atma going to be perished? No. So we have to be, and that is difficulty. That the whole difficulty is to be, not to become. So
After Nitya explained everything, myself, another.
Sir, Nitya.
Divya, எல்லாம் புரிஞ்ச மாதிரி இருக்கு. இப்ப திருப்பி சொன்னீங்கன்னா சொல்றாரு.
இல்ல அது சின்ன வயசுலயே ஃபாலோ பண்ணுவாங்க. இந்த ஏஜ் வரும்போது
Correct. We are in correct.
we can
We can understand.
others youngsters என்ன நினைக்கிறாங்கன்னா நாங்க இன்னும் அனுபவிக்கல. ஓகே அது நம்ம தர்மமா அனுபவிக்கணும். சொல்லும்போது இவங்க எல்லாம் அனுபவிச்சுட்டாங்க அதனால அவங்களுக்கு ஆசை இல்ல அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி நீங்க சொல்லலாம். பட் இவங்க எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சே நான் சொல்றேன். இவங்கெல்லாம் இப்பதானே வராங்க. let them all enjoy. அதெல்லாம் போடட்டும் எல்லாம் பண்ணட்டும். நம்ம சொன்னோம்னா உடனே அந்த மாதிரி வரும். உங்க ஏஜுக்கு ஓகே
இல்ல,
அப்படிங்கிறாங்க. இல்ல இல்ல
Bhagavad Gita சொல்றது enjoy within limits.
அதான் தர்ம சிந்தனையோட
Madam, you also know, sir also will know, when a person who is young comes as a patient, he is much more accepting the disease and ready to go to treatment rather than an adult person.
Yes.
You just see, I have experience. 5 years boy with some tumor or something, he will accept everything. Adult,
wants to live more than
no, not like that. It is better same way, tell him that you are Atma. What is happening is just Nataka. You enjoy everything, but don't forget that you are unlimited. Don't limit yourself to so and so person. Because today you will get full marks. Tomorrow you will not get. In 11th, 12th, you will get fantastic. You will come in the board and first, and MBBS will fail. It happens. Or MBBS will fail and you will get the worst seat possible in PG. But in PG, you might be first. So what happens is, if we know this is a philosophy now. There are so many philosophies. Someone will say Buddhist, someone will say Jainist, then someone will say Shunyavada. So many philosophies are there. One of the best philosophy for a humankind to follow is Sanatana Dharma. What happens is, once you know this, you can apply it anywhere. If you are a business person, you are a shrewd businessman, you are a poet, you are a doctor, you are an engineer, whatever, you can apply it to the best of, if you know the philosophy. In fact, sir is here, anesthetist, he can tell us how from gross body, he is seeing every day, every patient he is taking to the anesthesia, from the awake state, he will get to the, what is the semi-conscious state, and he gets them back. Isn't it so correct? You are seeing all the three avasthas.
Yeah, I don't do anything. It's a
He's already Akarta Mukta.
The stage of the.
That state is already got.
It's actually a misnomer that, you know, I mean, I tell you with some background with cardiac anesthesia. There's a lot of anesthetists feel that, we do a lot of things. We actually are not doing, we're just using the tools that are disposable to create a state which makes it easier for whatever. It's like when you do a bypass surgery, we stop the heart. And then everybody actually, all anesthetists say you restart the heart. Actually, we are not restarting the heart. The heart restarts by itself. Yes. The stopping part is in my control, but the restarting is not under my control. But it will restart if I keep everything normal. So only that is under my control, but it is not that I am restarting. Okay, because there is no drug which will restart.
The effect will go on that heart starting also.
There was a very interesting, this is related again, right? Interesting conversation I had with a very senior cardiac surgeon when I just joined him and we started. I don't know if anybody knows the story that I told and we have told one. Dr. Solomon with, I
So
was
we
presented.
get up until everybody listen.
So this whole session is recorded. Talk louder.
Little, maybe higher.
Dr. Solomon, he doesn't talk much actually, and one day he just called me and he said, why don't you just sit up? I want to ask you something. So I sat down and he said, where do you think the heartbeat starts from? And I was young, so I gave one of those, random kind of answers. So do you want a book answer or do you want an answer that you think, what I think? So he was surprised. He said, what do you mean? I said, if it's the book, he'll say no. If it is my answer you ask me, I don't know. So he said, he got very excited. He said, yeah, it doesn't start from the same one because, when we open the chest, we stop the heart and we restart it. Have you seen where the first flicker starts from? So I said, yeah, it doesn't start from the same one. It starts like above. So he said, yeah, that's it. So he said, so you see, it's not the thing. It starts somewhere above the SA node. And I think there has to be a center in the brain. I said, fine, yes, logical answer, scientifically speaking, that's the right way. But then I said, sir, if it is a spot there, we should have discovered it by now, unless we don't have the means to measure it. As of now, we have an electrical, we have a chemical, we have a hormonal, or we can have a magnetic. These are the four, or the fifth is a combination of all this from the brain, it leads to the SA node, which we are not able to detect with the tools. So he said, yes, that's what I also think, and that is what I want to prove. I said, so let's take it one step back. So let's assume that it is, like you're saying, one part in the brain. So where does that start from? So he got even more excited and he said, yes, that is why I said it is God. And he said, do you believe in God? And I said, no. So he got a little confused and he said, what do you mean? I said, I don't believe in God, the concept of God like everybody thinks, but there is something. So I said, okay, for lack of understanding, we will call that force as God, that's fine. But don't you think it's a little difficult for that one person? I mean, if you call him God, he'll be a very confused person because there are billions of people on the planet, plus life forms in forms of plants and animals. And each individual wants something different. And that one person to control everything, and it's not possible. He get totally confused. So he said, what are you trying to say? I said, I don't know. So, this is how the discussion went. And before we knew it was an hour, we were just discussing about how life started. Ultimately, I think what he was trying to say, it's again comes back to that universal consciousness, which we really do not know anything about. Because body, mind, and soul is what we use to try and come to an understanding. It's like an experience, I always say. If I pinch somebody, I can't quantify that pinch, if it hurts so much, it will be different for everybody. So unless you experience it, you can't really say this. Like, this is nirvana, or like Buddha attained nirvana, what is it? We really don't know. What is meditation? We don't know. You can say this is meditation, but no, it will be different for everyone. So I think it's a very abstract thing, and unless we delve more into it, we find.
No, no problem.
I'm
more, I'm better off after hearing you.
No, because the more
So
I
confused.
I mean, the more I think, the more I get confused, see, what is it? I still haven't, and I don't think I'll find that answer.
Nobody will find the answer.
But then you read that Gautama Buddha did find the answer. So what is it that he found?
Only he knows.
Exactly, so.
So actually what I read when I was preparing for this is, Atma is such an abstract thing. We cannot understand, as you said. It
In
is
our
so
present
difficult.
our sense.
In our present vocabulary, we do not have the way.
All the characters that I said are something which we can relate to it, but it is not the way it should be described.
It cannot
be
described.
described.
That's what I said. If I pinch somebody, can I describe that pinch? I cannot. It has to be an experience.
So that is what I was trying to say. What the Gita says, what I found when I was reading is, Atma is so abstract. No one can describe it. To describe it or even understand it may take very long. It involves a lot of work. So Gita says, rely on Bhagavan till then. And at one point of time, you will understand this, Bhagavan is the Atma. So pray.
There's a possibility. I mean, that's following the bhakti. Yoga
Yeah,
path.
bhakti, yeah.
What he is telling is totally he doesn't believe on God.
No,
No. That was at that age.
No, correct. I mean, I don't believe in the concept of
Can I say
God
that?
the way the people talk about it. There is a force, yes.
You should come for next class also.
Yeah, so see, that's the whole idea about Atma is something which cannot be measured beyond any measurement. Like Sir said, heartbeat, that SA node was not able to measure, it is coming from somewhere, right? And that's why we cannot fathom where it is coming from. Same way, Atma is something which is beyond describable. We all know, we have studied now. It doesn't belong to the boundaries of what we know. So we are unlimited. So we are limited. But one thing we forget. What is it? But Atma is not anywhere very far away from you. Why? Why? Because when the Creator created the creation, how did He create? He just made part of Him only as a creation. When something is made up of gold, bangles are made up of gold, all the ornaments are made up of gold. Do you have to prove that there is gold in it? Do you have to cut into pieces? Then always you go to the person and say whether gold is, test it. We take it for granted that in gold bangles, different shape sizes, it is gold. That's how, for some time, when you go to UKG, LKG, we have to learn twinkle, twinkle, little star, what I wonder how you are, whatever. And slowly after coming to 10th only, we know, I remember that is the meaning of it. In the whole of my journey, I understood very late. But we come to understanding, we believe that there is a God who created us, and while creating us, He Himself used the material, the reason, and the creation itself is one. It is the two sides of the same coin. We cannot separate each other. And that's the belief if you have, once you will, the day not far will experience Atma. That's it. So we have to have firm belief. It will come in 7th chapter, it will come in 9th chapter, in 12th chapter, when Bhakti is mentioned, devotion is mentioned. But only devotion also will not help. You have to use your intelligence, chitta, buddhi, mana, ahankara. That 4 things in the Sukshma Shariram, out of the 19, the 4 things has to be used correctly. for the other things to work perfectly towards the aligning towards the Atma. Okay, so with this, we end today's class. Thank you very much, Divya. No, today's class, and then we will do the creation can't happen today, sir.
Radiation is another big
So one
topic.
thing.
We'll just finish this.
Okay.
Om. Hari Om. So today's class officially is over, 8 o'clock. Those who